Hey everybody, welcome to YouTube. So I have not done a YouTube live in my life and I am excited to try this. So I want to give myself
Hey
a
everybody,
second.
welcome to YouTube. So I have
Let
not
me mute this so I'm not hearing myself. I hope that you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me so I know that everything is working correctly because I am trying an entirely new setup here on YouTube. So if you're not familiar with me or my channel, my name is Emily Vermillion and I am a certified life coach specifically for Christians. So I am a believer and a lot of my videos will apply to you whether you are a Christian or not. So be sure to check out the other videos, but that is something that I do mention in some of my talks and my trainings here because it is a foundation of who I am. So I'm excited to be on YouTube for the first time doing a live. And today we're talking about how to forgive yourself. And I wanted to tackle this subject because in the climate that we're living in and all of the opinions and negativity and internal struggles and things that we're all having to face right now, being faced with all the adversity and opinions of everyone else. We live in a day and age of social media and people being behind screens who are very much not afraid to attack, to judge, and to say really nasty things. And maybe we've been caught up in that arena as well. So I want to talk about this because I know regardless of who you are, where you're from, where you've been, we have all had to work through forgiveness in our life, whether we are forgiving ourselves or we are forgiving other people. Forgiveness is a part of our identity as a human being because we are not perfect and we are all having to adjust to our surroundings, our circumstances, people in our life, and we're having to deal with bad choices sometimes or other people hurting us and having to manage how do we handle that, right? So in this video, I want to give you guys some tools and mindset tricks. And so let's jump into the first thing. First, mindset is the biggest part of forgiveness. Our mental health is rewarded when we forgive people and we forgive ourselves. Forgiveness is a freedom. Forgiveness is the ability to let go of past hurts, pain, anguish, and if there's anything that you know about yourself, it should be that our thoughts and our emotions dictate a lot of our lives because from our thoughts and our feelings come our actions and our choices. So a lot of our physical world is dependent on what we're thinking up here. So when we forgive people, we are letting go of hurt and pain, strife, anguish, guilt, shame. And so we're able to step into who we are fully and with confidence and the ability to integrate with our day-to-day life in a joyful, content, well-rounded way. And so that's what gives us a lot more ability to live a content life and to find peace finally. And so forgiveness is a gift you give to other people, but it is so much a gift to yourself. And I want to quote some scripture to you guys about letting go of sin and hurt because part of the reason why we have a hard time forgiving ourselves is feeling shame and feeling guilt. So in response to that, in Hebrews 12, it says, "Therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." And so this is basically telling us that we have every ability and grace given to us to cast off our sin, cast off our hurt, our pain, and our shame, and run towards what is good. And this isn't to say we don't owe people an apology if necessary or to take responsibility for our actions. It's quite the opposite. It's to say, this is what I've done, but this is what I can do in response to it. This is what I can do now. And so a great tool in helping you mentally get to that space where you can say, I'm moving forward, I'm running from this, I'm letting this go, is to do what I like to call a thought download. And so what you want to do here is, if you're struggling with something and you know if it's taken up a lot of your ability to think and to live well, you want to understand where all that hurt is coming from. And it's something at the forefront of your mind. You may not be thinking about it consciously every waking moment, but when you get still or go to sleep, go to lay down, or you're scrolling your phone and you see someone that's inciting a reaction from you, that's how you know it's on your mind, right? So a thought download, what you're going to do is get a sheet of paper or your phone. We have notes in our phone. And you're going to write down everything about the circumstance. You're going to write down everything that you think about that thing, the thing that you are having a hard time forgiving yourself over. You're going to write all your thoughts about it. And once you get your thoughts down, you're going to look at them and you're going to marry your thoughts with the facts of the situation. Because a lot of times what's going on in our mind is an emotional response to an actual experience. Not all the time is the truth or the facts about the situation coming through in our memory and in our response to it, because we are feeling beings. So when we are in a situation, everything we're thinking about it is related to how we're feeling about it. So what you need to do is think about the facts of the situation. What were the hard facts? So not, for example, not that I didn't see someone that I should have said hey to. This is a very elementary example, but let's say you were at a party and you hurt someone's feelings because they felt like you were literally ignoring that they were there, right? And so when you do your thought download and you think about, okay, well, I treated this person poorly, and you go back to the night and you're thinking about the facts, and the facts are maybe you didn't see them for an hour in the party and it was just legit you did not see them. It wasn't that you were trying to avoid them or not interact with them. You literally physically didn't see them for that first hour. So right there, that's a fact about the situation. So it's not like you ignored them the entire time or didn't want to have anything to do with them. You just literally were in a different headspace and you were talking to different people and circling around the room and had not seen them yet, right? So that's a basic example, but what I want you to take from that is go back and list out the facts. Who was there? What time of day was it? What were you doing? The actual facts of the situation. And once you see the facts, you can also begin to recreate what was happening. What were you feeling? What was happening that day? Did you have a really bad meeting at work? And so when you came home and you got in an argument with your partner, was that going on in your mind, that terrible meeting, that critique you got from your boss? And so when you came home and your spouse looked at you the wrong way or asked a question that incited an argument, what was the preempt to that? And so that's what I want to encourage you to do. Really take the time to list out all the facts and then think about that. How do you want to think about those facts, right? That is how you begin to recreate for yourself what is true in your heart, who you truly are, what you truly value, and you let go of a mistake that you made, right? You're able to say, that was a circumstance in my life. These are the facts about the situation. That is how I responded to it. I take responsibility for it. I forgive myself, and I have to move on. So when you can really get engaged with the facts of the situation, you have a much better emotional response to the circumstance that you're struggling with, to therefore let it go and forgive yourself. Christ gave us the forgiveness of our entire lives, for our entire lives, and we most certainly can extend that same grace to ourselves and to other people. Of course, everything I'm saying here, you could apply to an extenuating circumstance or an external circumstance to help you work on forgiving someone else. Because here's the thing, most of the time when our feelings are hurt or someone hurts us, for the most part, they are not intentionally trying to hurt us. Are there situations where people intentionally hurt us? Yes. But by and large, in our day-to-day life, let's say with someone that we love, that's in our life consistently, they're not intentionally trying to hurt you. So most of the time, their responses to you, and maybe something they have said that did hurt you, was something that was reactionary to what was going on inside themselves. It was their frame of mind when they were interacting with you. It was their bad meeting that they had earlier today that put them in a very defensive mode when they were interacting with you. So everything that's going on in our heart and in our mind is a response to what we are thinking. So this can be applied to anything that we're doing. And it really is helpful when we're in a situation that maybe we feel nervous about or anxious for, or that is challenging us and making us uncomfortable, to be present and say, okay, I'm not going to allow my feelings to get in the way of what is happening right now. I'm just going to be present and try to take in the circumstances. And that way, you're not operating from a place of, I'm having a really crappy day, I don't want to be here, or, this person really gets on my nerves, I don't even want to talk to them. You're already setting up the situation you're in to be negative. And so that will help us abate more wrong decisions, wrong choices, hurtful actions in the future. So when we're forgiving ourselves, it really has to be an understanding of there was a different context in that situation that you were operating under, and that very heavily dictated your response and your reaction and your choice in that moment. And so the biggest lesson you can get from making a wrong choice is to learn to forgive yourself and learn to learn from it. And so that is a lesson that you can be grateful for, and that will help you move forward in any guilt or shame or hurt that you are feeling in yourself and inside yourself for what has happened. And so it is very, very, very good for you to practice, setting yourself up to learn from mistakes. And so that is the next part of the exercise. You wrote down all your thoughts, you wrote down the facts. Now write down, what is the outcome of that? What is the outcome of that? And you get to choose, because you get to choose to either stay in shame and guilt and hurt and pain, or you get to choose that was a hurtful, painful, shameful situation, but here's what I learned from it. And that is where I'm operating now. I'm operating in what I've learned from the situation. And that becomes a positive, which helps you negate that hurtful, pain, shameful feelings that are causing you to perpetuate a situation, an environment, and a mindset that you truly don't want to be in. So it's very important that you take the time to work through your thoughts, work through the facts, and work through what are the outcomes you want to have, not what has happened. Because you do take responsibility and can take responsibility for the hurt and the pain. Maybe you've caused yourself or caused to somebody else. And so that probably requires you to do some apologizing. Maybe you have to apologize to somebody else. Do that. Maybe you have to apologize to yourself. Do that, because if you don't, you're going to perpetuate the hurtful emotions. And so once you're able to see the thoughts, the circumstances, your apology is much more heartfelt to yourself, to someone else. It's much more freeing once you are able to get on the other side of that and see, okay, there is a positive to this because I've learned this about myself. I can't combine all these elements and go into this environment and respond well to it, right? People that may have drank too much and had an outburst or something. It's like, these were the elements. These were the facts about that circumstance. I can't combine those two together anymore and put myself in that situation, right? You learn about yourself when you are forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is a gift. It is something that challenges us in a way that we're not always doing. And so it's a chance and an opportunity for you to make your life better, to make who you are more developed, to make your heart more developed and more receptive to your life and what is happening. And when you forgive and you practice forgiveness, it becomes a lot easier, a lot more habitual, and a lot more heartfelt in a quicker sense for situations to come, because we're not perfect and we're going to have to forgive over and over and over and over again. Forgive ourselves, forgive others. It is part of our human condition, being humans who have a conscience and have a soul. And so forgiveness is something we should all get comfortable with. It makes us a better person. It makes us a more well-rounded person, a more relatable person, and most certainly a more loving person. So I hope that these techniques and this framework for forgiveness helps you. I want to encourage you guys. I have a podcast. It's called The Thought Vault, and I host it I do interviews, I have solo shows, all kinds of stuff. But I have an entire episode on the Thought Vault podcast dedicated to forgiveness. It is super in depth. It is a great conversation. I love it. It's one of my most favorite episodes. So go check out the Thought Vault on any podcast listening app and listen to them all. Be sure to subscribe so you're always notified when a new episode drops every Wednesday. And check out that episode on forgiveness. I also want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Hit the button. You can also jump into my free Facebook group. It is a place that is just of community of like-minded mostly ladies. Well, it's all ladies right now. And it's just a great place for community encouragement, uplifting, lots of life coaching trainings, as I am a certified life coach. Fun things, girl talk. Okay, so it's a great place to be. So you can get to that Facebook group in the link in the show notes of this video. You can also just go to boldpearls.com/insiders. Boldpearls.com is my podcast. It's the hub of everything going on in my community. And I am looking forward to getting to know all of you and trying out these new lives over here on YouTube. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll be around. All right, bye for now.